The colony of New Carthage lay on the outer rim of human expansion, a fragile settlement clinging to survival under the pale light of a red sun. Built in uneasy partnership with the native alien race, the Ashari, the colony represented both hope and tension. Humans brought steel and engines, while the Ashari gave wisdom, medicine, and their long memory of the land. But coexistence was not harmony. Many humans viewed the Ashari as weak, fragile, or even parasitic, while some Ashari mistrusted humans for their warlike nature. Into this fragile peace stepped Sergeant Daniel Kane, a human veteran of the Orion Wars. Scarred, broad-shouldered, and haunted, Kane had come to New Carthage not to fight, but to heal. He volunteered at the colony's school, working with hybrid classes of human and Ashari children. Teaching, he found, was harder than war, but it gave him purpose. Among his students was Nira, a young Ashari girl with pale, glass-like skin and luminous green eyes. She was brilliant, inquisitive, but bound to a wheeled hoverchair after an accident that left her legs too weak to carry her. Despite her disability, her laughter filled the room. She was often the first to greet Kane each morning, her questions spilling faster than he could answer. But Kane noticed things. Whispers in the halls. Human children sneering when Nira passed. The way her smile dimmed after recess. The colony had rules about equality, but rules didn't stop cruelty. And cruelty always found the vulnerable. Middle. The breaking point came on a bleak afternoon when the wind howled against the metal walls of the school. Kane was leaving his class when he heard it, a scream, high and panicked, from outside near the courtyard. He dropped his satchel and ran. In the courtyard, a group of human teenagers, older, stronger, the kind who had grown up believing themselves conquerors, had surrounded Nira. They had tipped her hoverchair onto its side. She lay on the ground, struggling, her delicate arms bruised from the fall. And in their hands, her chair. They were passing it between them, laughing, taunting, holding it high as if it were some prize. "Look at her now," one sneered. "Can't even crawl without this thing." Nira's voice cracked with pain. "Give it back." Kane froze for half a second. Memories surged. Battlefields, civilians huddled under fire, soldiers sneering at the weak. His chest tightened. He had sworn never to fight again. But there was a line, and these boys had crossed it. "Enough," Kane barked, his voice like rolling thunder. The bullies turned, their laughter fading when they saw him. They knew who he was. Everyone in the colony knew the veteran with the scars and the iron gaze. "This isn't your business," the tallest boy spat, though his voice quivered. Kane's eyes flicked to Nira, trembling on the ground, then back to them. His fists clenched. "She's my student. That makes it my business." One boy smirked. "What, you gonna fight us for her? Break another body like in the war?" Kane stepped forward. The bullies backed up instinctively, but one shoved the chair behind him, as if to guard it. "Last chance," Kane growled. "Put it down. Walk away." Instead, the tallest swung first. A wild, panicked punch meant more for bravado than harm. Kane moved like the soldier he had once been. His body remembered what his mind wished to forget. He caught the boy's arm, twisted. A snap echoed across the courtyard. The boy screamed, collapsing to the ground, clutching his broken arm. Another lunged with a metal rod. Kane sidestepped, swept his legs, and broke the shin cleanly with a brutal stomp. The boy howled, writhing. The others hesitated, fear dawning too late. Kane advanced, fury controlled but unstoppable. Every strike was precise, bone-breaking but not killing. One by one, they fell screaming, their arrogance shattered alongside their limbs. Within minutes, the courtyard was littered with groaning teenagers, Their bravado bled out in cries of pain. Cain stood over them, chest heaving, eyes blazing. He hadn't fought for glory, hadn't fought for rage. He had fought because a child needed him. When he turned, Nira was staring at him wide-eyed, not with fear, but awe. "Cain," she whispered, voice trembling. You saved me." He knelt, lifting her gently, placing her back into the battered hover chair he retrieved from the ground. His voice softened. "No one touches you again. Not while I'm here." The consequences. Word spread fast. By nightfall, the colony buzzed with outrage and fear. The boy's parents screamed for justice. Some demanded Cain's arrest, others called him a monster. "A soldier gone feral," they said. Cain didn't defend himself. He had acted, and he would bear it. But the Ashari Council saw it differently. To them, Cain's actions carried deep cultural meaning. The Ashari revered protection of the vulnerable above all things, and violence in defense of a child was not brutality, it was sacred. When Nira's family brought her before the council, she spoke tearfully of what had happened. How Cain had stood against cruelty. How he had given her dignity when others stripped it away. The council deliberated for hours. Finally, they summoned Cain. He expected punishment. Instead, they offered something else. The extraordinary reward. The Ashari leader, tall and silver-skinned, bowed low before him, a gesture rarely given to humans. "Daniel Cain," he intoned, "you have spilled blood not in conquest, but in protection. You have embraced our sacred law. To shield the weak is to honor life itself. For this, we owe you a debt that cannot be repaid in coin or thanks." Cain frowned. "I didn't do it for reward." "Which," the leader said softly, "is why you are worthy." They brought forth Nira, who reached out with trembling hands. Around her neck hung a crystal pendant glowing with soft light. The leader explained, it was a bondstone, a rare Ashari relic reserved for only the most trusted allies. When given, it bound the recipient as kin, family to the Ashari, with all the rights and protections that entailed. No human had ever been granted such an honor. As Nira placed the pendant around Cain's neck, tears filled her luminous eyes. "Now you'll never be alone again. You're one of us." For the first time in years, the weight on Cain's shoulders lifted. He had come to New Carthage broken, a man haunted by war. But in defending one child, he had found belonging. Ending. The colony never forgot that day. The bullies healed, though their arrogance never quite recovered. Human authorities grumbled, but none dared challenge the Ashari decree. As for Cain, he continued teaching, his once empty quarters now filled with visits from Nira and her family. The veteran who had thought his days of meaning were over had found a new war worth fighting, against cruelty, against indifference, against the darkness that preyed on the weak. And in that fight, he was no longer alone. Because sometimes the greatest reward isn't medals or honors. It's family.